Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Soul Health with Nurse Blue. And guess what? I am Nurse Blue, and for the next few minutes I'm here to live up to my name, sweetheart. I am here to build you, that's the B. Love you, that's the L. How do I love you? I tell you the truth about something that can liberate you from whatever might be holding you bondage, right? I am here to unite us, that's the U, and empower you about my favorite subject. Hopefully by the end of this, it's yours, and that is soul health. So I want to first just let you know that if you're coming across my channel for the first time, this is who I serve. I serve men and women who are leading businesses, leading communities, leading households, and they are looking for health and wellness strategies to thrive. We have decided to thrive in 2025, and you cannot do it without having great health. And so as a nurse, as a wellness coach, as a spiritual activist, as someone who loves to support people and becoming their best, soul health is the solution of how you get there. But now, that also comes with you understanding that you have to pick the path that you want to be on in terms of your health, because there's two paths, and maybe perhaps you don't realize this. There are a lot of people out here, probably millions now, here in the United States and probably throughout the world, who are extremely frustrated about what's happening in our medical system. Frustrated because there are a lot more people who are suffering with problems and there are not enough solutions to those problems. And they don't want to be on prescription drugs because maybe perhaps they're having adverse reactions, and they're, kind of frustrated, right? And I get that, and quite frankly, I've been there, right? Which is why soul health is my solution and why I'm so passionate about it. Because if in fact you are on that path, that means that you're probably experiencing signs and symptoms from some type of disease-related condition, and you have currently, the track that you're on is that you are on the fixed track, the fixed track where you're taking a prescription. And you don't want to be on a prescription, but there may not be any other options that you're considering right now. Maybe because sometimes it's just a matter of we're not disciplined enough to do what it takes to get off of our prescription, right? Or we just don't know better because, maybe you did not live in an environment where health and wellness was emphasized. And so this might be something that is calling for you to become more aware, first and foremost, but play an active role in an area that is not where your strength lies, right? And so you might be challenged with that reality, right? But needless to say, that fixed path, what you definitely know is that that's the path you don't want to be on. You don't want to take prescriptions, but you don't know how to reverse or prevent what you're currently going through, and you need some help and support. Okay, well, first things first. First of all, let me congratulate you that you've decided that you want to look outside of the box and consider another option. So I'm going to ask you to upgrade your health right now. And if you said, yes, I'm ready for the upgrade, I'm going to upgrade my health right now. If that's something you want to do, okay, so now you want to come over to Soul Health, okay? Now, Soul Health is where you're going to find Nurse Blue. And on this area, what we do is we first examine where you are in your health and then help provide you with resources and strategies where we don't fix the condition, but we heal the condition, right? And healing always starts with an elevated thought and an elevated emotion and an elevated habit or change in your current reality to support your new thoughts and your new emotions, right? So that we can create a positive outcomes, because that's what it's all about. And what is positive outcomes for you? Well, for most of us, positive outcomes are, feeling better, sleeping better, feeling more peace, feeling more joy. And certainly if you are being compromised by pain and inflammation, if you're having some metabolic issues, meaning perhaps you may have been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, if you are managing an autoimmune deficiency or any of those things related to what I'm talking about right now. There are a lot of people out there who are struggling with managing cancer, and what I want to say to each of you is that I am with you. 98% of what the collective is suffering from is preventable, and much of it is reversible. So I want you to understand that no matter what you're currently going through in your health, that there are ways that we can address this to bring positive outcomes, okay? But it starts with you believing in that, right? Now, if you decided that you're going to upgrade your health to soul health, the first thing I want to share with you is about a system that will help you get there, because the soul, actually, whatever's happening in that soul and our souls, which is made of 3 parts. So our thoughts, our emotions, and our habits, whatever's happening there is communicating with the CEO, the COO, and the CFO of your body. So CEO, this is the Chief Executive Officer of your body, okay? And I'm going to ask you, do you know who it is? Do you know what the name of that system is? I'm going to share with you in just a moment. Do you know who the Chief Optimization Officer is of your body? Okay, that means if you want optimal health, this is your optimization system, right? And the Chief Financial Officer of your body, because if this system is not in a state of health and well-being and balance, it's going to impact your money. And if you have not been introduced to this system prior to now, I want to invite you to dive in and build a relationship with the most important system of your body. Okay, so let me introduce that system to you right now. The name of that system is called the endocannabinoid system. And if you would like more information on this system beyond what I share with you in this video, I certainly have a full playlist to support you with doctors that provide research and information about this, so you could dive deeply into that. And of course, all of the information that you'll find here, I have hundreds of videos that I've curated to support you in keeping this system in a state of balance, okay? All right, so that's why I am your Nurse Blue, and that's what I'm here to do: build, love, unite, and empower you about soul health. And part of that is making sure that your system, the endocannabinoid system, which, let me just shorten her name, for the rest of this video and videos thereafter, you will hear me refer to that system as the ECS, okay? And I want you to start out by now, as you have learned about this new system that's going to lead you to improving your health. I want you to give her a hug right now. So this is how you hug her, all right? We're going to start with the brain, because majority of her receptors, CB1 receptors, are right here in your brain. So I want you to just put your hands over the crown and say, "Ooh, I love my ECS." Say it now. I love my ECS. Now, her CB2 receptors, okay, they're all throughout the body, because this is a chemical system, guys. So I want you to say, "I love my ECS." Give yourself a hug. I love my ECS. Plus, the ECS she loves when you affirm her. So now that we have decided that we're going to build a relationship with this system, there's so much good that she does for you. I want you to look at your ECS kind of like the internal GPS that is within your body, who's transporting you into a new portal called wholeness. Because you cannot live your best life without her being happy. You certainly cannot become the best version of yourself internally without her being happy. So I want you to just realize that she's on your side, and it is up to me to support you in giving her what she needs. Because when you give your ECS everything she needs, baby, she's going to give you what you need. And what you need is better health, better energy. You want to improve your relationships. You want to improve your abundance. You want to improve your joy. And she's going to get you there. Okay, so let me just share a little bit more about this sophisticated communication network that is continuously working to help you maintain your homeostasis. She keeps you balanced. Okay, now it's like having a highly intelligent internal conductor orchestrating your body's most critical systems. And if you want to thrive, you can't thrive without her. So do you understand why it's necessary that you're here right now? Do you understand why we're blessed to be in each other's lives right now? But it gets better, because quite frankly, guys, I'm quite insulted that we weren't taught this system. I am really insulted by it. I've been learning and building a relationship with the system for the past 5 years, but my research around this work started back, over 25 years ago. And I was just, pretty much putting puzzle pieces together to be able to present you with what I know for sure is a really great strategy on helping you love your endocannabinoid system back to health, because self-love starts with you loving the endocannabinoid system. And if you don't even know what this system is, if you have not been taught what the power of this system, how to take care of her and the role that she plays in your health, I consider it to be a crime against humanity. I really do. Our doctors have not been educated about this system. I'm talking about here in the United States, unless they're on the holistic side of things. And even many of our naturopaths don't specialize in this system. But thankfully, the American Nurses Association has equipped nurses, those of us who know about it, to provide you with health education, leading research to help you understand how to balance this system. And I am just proud to be among the few of us that are out here doing this. But at the same time, I'm talking about few in comparison to the numbers of nurses that don't know about it. But needless to say, that is changing here, because this is your system to help you thrive. So I'm going to refer to my notes right now, guys. For the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you some details about why this system is so important for you if you're currently experiencing a health challenge, particularly in the areas of cardio health, meaning heart disease is an issue for you, metabolic problems, type 2 diabetes might be a problem for you, if you have any autoimmune deficiencies that you are currently managing with long-term systemic medications. And if you're like myself, who have struggled with anxiety throughout the years, and you currently are on a medication, but you would prefer to just be able to live in a state of ease and flow and take better care of, or have more authority over your internal self, then this certainly is going to be important. Okay, so the ECS helps to manage, she's like your stress transformation mechanism, okay? Let's just say that. She acts as a biological stress buffer. So when stress, which is oftentimes rooted in fear, known and unknown fear, what happens is there are quite a few things that's taking place in your body. The ECS helps to convert chronic stress signals into adaptive responses. But here's where I want to really focus this area, because what I'm finding with my clients throughout the years, we have been taught to manage stress, okay? We've been taught to cope with stress. And I'm going to tell you why that is so dangerous. And particularly, I've worked largely with women of color who have built a reputation and identity on our resilience, right? And that can be both a blessing and a curse. And here's what I mean by that. Because what we have learned how to do is manage high levels of cortisol. Okay? And cortisol production is modulated by the endocannabinoid system. You hear about it, and what I mean by that is cortisol is actually a hormone that's created by our adrenal glands, which is like these two little glands that's sitting on the top of our kidneys, right? And so anytime we go into a state of fight or flight, cortisol is activated. And what we have learned how to do in our lives, particularly when we own businesses, when we're head of households, when we have, when we're committed to a lot of things in our life that requires our time, our energy, our passion, oftentimes stress comes with that. So that stress has activated that cortisol, and cortisol becomes lethal to your body. So in managing it, the reason why it is lethal is because it's multi-systemic. It goes throughout the body. And I'm going to share with you the impact of elevated cortisol levels on the body and how profound it is to our health. Because, we hear about all the time how people, people die from sudden heart attacks. We're hearing about the increased numbers of people who are being diagnosed every day with either type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes. And we're talking about, guys, up very close to 100 million people here in the United States. There is something wrong with it, okay? We're talking about the increased numbers of people who are being diagnosed with cancer, right? And the ECS, when we are learning how to build a relationship with this ECS, we can not manage our stress, not cope with our stress. Why are we managing a killer? In loving the ECS, you will defeat it. And that's what I'm asking you to do, because what happens with cortisol, let's just talk about the physiological cascading effects of chronic high cortisol. Let's talk about the brain, okay? The neurological impact. This is something that's really, I'm very passionate about, because it's actually in this month that we are recognizing and celebrating my father being granted his heavenly wings. So my father died 3 years ago from the complications of high levels of cortisol. High levels of cortisol that showed up with as Alzheimer's, dementia. My father also had prostate cancer. And this is a man who never smoked a day in his life, never drank a day in his life. He didn't even know the taste of alcohol, did not take drugs, worked out on a regular basis all the time, but still spent 10 years of his life totally incapacitated. I saw him investing in a body that failed him in the end. And many of you can identify with this reality. So we didn't know about the endocannabinoid system at the time. But what we did know is that my father was a hard-working man. He was addicted to work. He was addicted to, work. And he was proud of it. That meant he managed his stress. That meant he managed coping with a killer inside of him. And he did not have access to the information that I am sharing with you today. So I, every day, question how much this could have brought life to him had we just had this information. So please don't take this lightly, and be willing to unlearn some things, because some things that we have adopted as a form of our identity that we are proud of could be the very things that it's time for us to unlearn, because it is deadly for us to stay stuck to those ideas. Because when cortisol runs high, the hippocampus of your brain, that's the place of your brain that supports your memory, your emotional processing center. Yeah, it creates structural vulnerability there. You see, the hippocampus is extremely sensitive to stress hormones. So when you're having problems with memory, understand that cortisol could definitely be activated and working against you. Your brain, by the way, has high levels of cortisol receptors. Now, your ECS, remember, CB1s that we talked about, a large number of those receptors, and we're talking about receptors all throughout your body, but the largest number in your brains. But so are your cortisol receptors, right? So are we going to support our system with healthy hormones? Yes, we have to. And that means we have to learn how to upgrade our health to specifically include activities and daily habits that lower our cortisol, right? Because our cognitive processing system depends on our habits to do that. It increases the risk of depression and anxiety. And as a person who lived on the edge most of my life, battling anxiety, battling fear, living in high states of chronic stress because I did not feel safe inside myself. I did not feel safe in my surroundings. And I carried all of these dense emotions within me and put a big smile on my face and pretended as if they did not exist, which means I was suppressing and oppressing soul toxins. And later, it resulted in my endocannabinoid system. It resulted in failure. It showed up for me as an autoimmune deficiency. But when I began to learn how to manage loving myself on a soul level, I was able to balance my endocannabinoid system. And that's the beauty. And so now, because I've learned how to build a relationship with her, the condition that I once was so afraid of, I've been able to resolve. Because my endocannabinoid system, knowing her, liberates my health. And not just knowing her, but actively participating in loving her on a daily basis has liberated me on so many levels. From attracting a health problem or increasing health issues, because I submit to doing what it takes to keep my system in a state of balance. Here's another thing she does, guys. For those of you where diabetes run in your family, and I'm specifically talking about type 2 diabetes, right? Obesity runs in your family, or some other metabolic issues, right? This is the system that modulates all of that. And so when I say modulates, I mean control. You know, the ECS, the most important systems of your body. First of all, she has receptors in all of your major organs, okay? All of your major organs has ECS receptors. But the idea systems, and I'm an acronym person, guys, so I come up with an acronym for everything. So think about it in terms of the ideas that we have, right? You need so if you run businesses and all of that, you're always coming up with great ideas. We're investing in great ideas to take your business forward, right? Or even if you are a head of the household and your great idea is to, do things to create health and harmony for your family, for the environment within your household. Okay. What do you need for your ideas? You need a great immune system, because if you're sick, it doesn't matter how great the idea is, you're not going to be able to activate the energy for that idea to manifest perhaps at its fullness and in the fullness of the vision that you have, right? So the endocannabinoid system controls your immune system, your digestive system, okay? So digestive system starts with your tongue, right? From your tongue all the way down to your rectum. That's your digestive system. And so, of course, the ECS plays a major role in the functioning, and we want that system to be flowing. You know, like I said, starting from the tongue, we want to flow all the way down through our colon, all the way into, you know, the food or what we put in this system is eliminated, right? Our endocrine system, you heard me mention before that, you know, when we are in a state of stress, that that endocrine system is the system that modulates our stress response, right? It also modulates, you know, how our hormones are activated during that response, right? And also different neurotransmitters. I mean, our body is so remarkably made, but just know that this system here is the motherboard of all of this, right? And then, of course, our autonomic nervous system, which directly impacts our stress response. When you think about, you know, what happens to us when we are excited, or, you know, there's a scare, you know, if you're driving down the street and someone cuts you off and you go into acute stress. Now, when we talk about chronic stress, it's maintaining that level of stress sometimes for years. That's when we talk about it begins to create a breakdown in the system, because cortisol, you know, cortisol shows up, and then once she shows up and, you know, she goes and gets fat belly Felicia, right? So she starts creating fat around our midsection. And then here's the thing, we start creating a lifestyle now around being okay with the system breakdown. And a lot of times, because we don't know any better, we don't know that, you know, the ECS is calling for us to say, hey, save me. I need your help. But it wasn't until today that you even knew she existed, right? Let me share some other things with you guys. So outside of the fact that she increases insulin resistance, which is why type 2 could be occurring, she slows our metabolism. So as we get older and our bodies start changing, a lot of times we start picking up weight, right? And we see that our metabolism is slowing down. Well, guess what? The ECS contributes to that. She also contributes to our appetite. And here's the one thing, guys, it's extremely important, because the women that I work with, a lot of times they're business owners, they're entrepreneurs, or they're leading in corporations. So they're, you know, making decisions about people, places, and things. And I also work with, you know, several men in this regard. We are doing things, we're working so hard, we're navigating this stress, all because we are working to build a legacy to leave to the next generation, to our children. And what we don't realize is that, you know, while you're probably focused on generational wealth in the form of financial resources, honey, that cannot exist and take place if, in fact, you don't invest in generational health. And when you invest in generational health, you are investing and building a relationship with the endocannabinoid system. But here's something you probably don't know. Our stress responses can be passed down. So our children, the way we are created, and if you're hearing this for the first time, then perhaps this can be a game changer in your life. Maybe this could be something that will get your attention so that you can say, you know what, it's time for me to upgrade. However you are managing your stress right now, you are passing that down to your children as well. And when we are looking at how unhealthy our society is, and I'm speaking about the food, I'm talking about the lifestyle, I'm talking about with all of the toxins that's in the air, even the media toxins. Our children need to understand that the endocannabinoid system is the system to better health for them. And how are they going to know that if you are not, number one, you don't know it yourself, but you're not creating for them a model or a demonstration on how to take care of it, right? So if I got your attention with that, I want to invite you to invest in upgrading your wellness strategy this month, and decide to thrive. Decide to thrive by investing in learning about your endocannabinoid system, and even take it a step further. Let's start to build a relationship where you learn how to renew her, where you learn how to keep her in a state of balance, where you invest in providing her with the greatest opportunity to achieve optimal health and wellness, right? And I have a really great system designed to help you do that. So if that appeals to you, right? I have a 3-hour training called the Decide to Thrive Soul Renewal Detox, and it's specifically focused on the endocannabinoid system, okay? And in 3 hours, pretty much I'm going to teach you the 5 steps on how to elevate, the 5 simple steps on how to elevate your energy, your health, your peace, your confidence, your abundance with the vibration that your ESC loves so much, with joy. And it's actually detailed in my book. I'll post the link so you can grab my book off of Amazon. But if you decide to do the detox, then the book is automatically included in the experience. But it first starts with you clicking the link below so you can apply for it, because I can't work with everybody, and I'm working with a few people this month who are really invested in reversing a health condition or preventing a health condition, or want to learn and take the first step in building a relationship with their ECS, their endocannabinoid system. And that's the system to thrive. So don't continue to put it off, because this system here can either reverse something you're currently going through, especially if chronic disease runs in your family. You want it to run past you. This is how we do it. Okay, so I have tons of information, guys. I will also put my playlist, the endocannabinoid system playlist there for you, so that you can look at some other resources that I have for you from doctors like Dr. Rachel Knox, yes, or Dr. David Allen, and others. All right, I really want you to understand, if the doctors don't know much about the endocannabinoid system, I'm talking about the traditional doctors here in America and maybe beyond, but here in America, traditional doctors have not been taught on this, right? So you can't expect them to give you information about things that many of them do not know. But I have doctors for you here in the Soul Health and Wellness Club here on YouTube that I can provide you with. So everybody, first and foremost, if you enjoyed this information, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so by now, please make sure you subscribe to Soul Health and Wellness. I am your nurse here, providing you all the information you need to build, love, unite, and empower your soul and now your endocannabinoid system. Because the more you give her, she's only going to give you your best self. Okay? All right, guys, have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye-bye.